Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 7th race of the second season of PALracing, the Wizard of Zaw 225 at Kansas. Daniel Honeycutt finally returns to the front of the field on pole. Daniel Honeycutt said last week, it's time to turn up the heat. And at this point, he reinstates that. He stands by this statement. Sets the pole time. We'll go ahead and get him up into the booth. Make sure we extend. Make sure we extend to get 2 to green. Had to make a little message there. Okay. Daniel, no up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Well, Daniel, you put that 72 machine on the front row starting P1. Last week you said, I got to turn up the heat, and looks like you did. How do you feel about this Kansas race? It's a lot different than the last time we were here.
Yeah, this number 72, Georgia's Toyota is pretty fast tonight. I mean, it took me a while to figure out this new setup in practice, and I was able to carry that over to qualifying. So, I mean, long way to go. A lot of good drivers to beat tonight, and hopefully keep it out the wall.
Alrighty, well, Daniel, you have currently set yourself up just outside the top 3 in points. We've had a couple of rough races in the past, and by rough, it's still a really good showing. You just didn't have a good qualifying at Dover. How many more races do you think you're going to be up front? You find it really tough to battle some of these guys? Do you have tracks that are more your strong suit? Are you trying to be more conservative? What's the feedback we need to have here to understand what's going on behind the wheel of that 72 Georgia's machine?
Well, right now I feel like once we can get past Talladega, then it's just going to be tracks that fit all my style. Like, Talladega is just such a big event and such like a big mess that goes on, but once we get past there, I think everything kind of settle in. I can keep running up front, and I'm hoping to kind of change my season around from Kansas, because this is just past the halfway point. That is the halfway point. Is one of those things, but hopefully from here on out, maybe win every race that we got to come, but just gotta hold on past Talladega, and then from there we can probably keep getting this thing on the pole and keep leading every lap.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Daniel. Have a good race, buddy.
All right, thank you.
We'll send Daniel back down. We have a whole nother lap to go, so they're not coming to the green just yet. We'll have one more pace lap, so we'll go ahead and go through the field. Daniel Honeycutt sitting on pole. Greg Jodiet, great qualifying effort. We find him in second. Matthew Heel races his way into third. We'll see kind of start he could get. We need him to turn up the heat as well. He is currently your defending PALracing champ, but is on a 13-race winless streak. Let's see if he could snap that right here at Kansas. Chris Warren, to his outside, the best qualifying effort we've seen out of the Warren brother. Jacob Pettit, 5th. Jacob Alicia, your points leader, 6th. Aiden Gould, 7th. Douglas Henry, 8th. Samuel Lang, 9th. Joe Houston, 10th. Solid top 10. We look back towards the front as they go down the backstretch. I'm really excited for this race, guys. We got 23 cars in the field. This is going to be an absolutely spectacular night. The track is loose, and you guys know what time it is. It is time for your go time music. 23 cars in the field. Daniel Honeycutt back on pole. 150 laps at Kansas. This is the Wizard of Zaw 225. 7th race of the season 2 of PALracing. More than $300 on the line. And as they come to the restart zone, it is green flag, and away we go at Kansas. As they go into turns 3 and 4, Daniel Honeycutt had the advantage. Matthew Heel back to the outside as they come down the stripe. Daniel Honeycutt, Matthew Heel now even. Going into turns 1 and 2, Matthew up top with the preferred line. Daniel Honeycutt down low. And a magic Matthew Heel returns to the front of a pack at PALracing. Aiden Gould, Jacob Alicia, nose to tail on that bottom line. Definitely trying to save tires. You're going to wear them out more on top. Oh, Jacob Alicia, Samuel Lang. We might have a wreck. Samuel Lang sideways. Caution will come out. Samuel Lang contact with Jacob Alicia. He will get it back going straight. Doesn't seem to be any damage. He got that car stopped. Go look at Jacob Alicia's car. Nose seems to be okay. Let's take a look at the replay. You have Samuel Lang here. He's going to get a little bit loose in this corner. He has a run to the outside. First they touch. He catches the right rear of Alicia. Sorry, it was actually Chris Warren who got in the back of Samuel. Got a little bit confused there. Let's go from another angle. Let's get that chopper cam. Let's watch it again. So you're going to see he gets a really good charge into the corner, but the car over-rotates. You can see that Backett starts to step out. He's going to come down and catch Alicia. I mean, that just kind of looked like netcode almost, but Chris Warren nowhere to go. Gets into the back of the 70, and Samuel Lang does a good job of getting that car locked down. Hey, Matthew, no up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Matthew, we saw you rocket to the front. Does that 53 machine have race-winning speed to snap that winless streak?
Well, we're going to find out. I'm not really sure how tire saving is going to work out tonight. It's a night race, so I'm hoping that there's not going to be too much tire fall off. So we're just kind of rolling the top here, hoping that we're not going to hit the wall, and we're going to see how it plays out. But happy to be at the front. I think we're the fastest car, at least right now. I'll be curious on the back end of the run how everything shakes out. But you know, lead laps getting that point, you know, need all the points we need or that we can get right now because we're currently second in the points. So in the hunt, so just having fun and hopefully we can bring home a win today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Matthew.
Thank you.
We'll send Matthew back down. So yeah, we talked about Matthew Heel currently running second in the points in the hunt right now. Let's take a look at that points picture. These are what the points look like post Dover. Jacob Alicia still leading with the Pacemakers team, 227 points, 3 wins in the season. Absolute dominance right now. But you can see Matthew Heel, even though he's winless this season, sits at 210. Douglas Henry, 209. So not a big separation. Matthew Heel, Mr. Consistency. Let's see if he can secure the win. To the outside of Matthew Heel, Greg Jodiet finds himself still running the top 3. Greg actually had a pretty good shot to win here last season. The Wizard of Zaw came early in the season. In Season 1, we saw Greg Jodiet have a really good run. Hopefully he can continue with that Season 2 speed he's shown us. I go up here and get a win, but it looks like the pace lights are off of the pace truck, which means we're coming to the green flag. Watch these cars stack up. Still all 23 cars running, and there are now right around 15 cars with new tires. Green flag is out. Bottom line, big checkup. Matthew Heel gets a good jump. We saw Aaron Warren, Alicia, and Daniel Honeycutt all make contact on that bottom line, but Matthew Heel retains the lead, and as they go into turns 1 and 2, Greg Jodiet is under attack by Daniel Honeycutt, your pole sitter. Daniel trying to run that bottom line. We talked about how Daniel's decided that this season was going to be his season. He needed to turn up the heat. Basically, Jacob Alicia tied Daniel Honeycutt for the most career PALracing wins after Dover last week. Daniel said, it's my turn to turn up the heat, and he's turning it up now as he looks for the lead against Matthew Heel, side by side down the front stretch. Daniel Honeycutt even with Matthew Heel going into turns 1 and 2. He's rolling that bottom line. It's a little bit slower, but early run when those tires are still cold, you can get a pretty good exit. And Daniel Honeycutt, Matthew Heel, contact. Daniel Honeycutt around. Saves it, big contact. I don't know if he slid up into Matthew Heel. I think Matthew Heel might have damage. His nose seems to be fine. We don't know what happened. All the cars seem to make it through. But Daniel Honeycutt, big damage to the 72 machine. No caution, we stay green, and your pole sitter may be having early trouble. As that car looks like it is just trying to limp around the track, he's going to have a lot of damage to fix. Let's take a look at the replay. So you can see Daniel Honeycutt inside of Matthew Heel. He gets the completion of the pass. He slides right up and kind of clears himself off the nose of the 53. Let's try to find you guys a better angle. Here he is up in front of the 53. I want to go back some more. Watch this run. He's going to get on the bottom. He's going to start to come up because he thinks he has the clear. At this moment, he does, but Matthew Heel still gets a really good run on that top side, and as he comes up, I mean, Matthew, he just is carrying that momentum into the back of the 72. Maybe he could have lifted. Maybe he didn't know if he needed to or had the time. And Daniel, he's going to take another hard hit here to the left front. He actually gets that car to the right. Hits a little bit square. But that is not what you want to see out of Mr. Honeycutt. He's still out on track. He did not go in and pit. But he is running in the back. And now Matthew Heel still leading. I would imagine he has to have a little bit of nose damage. He'll run to the race where it counts. Finds himself finishing just outside the top 3, but oh no, we might have a wreck. We look back towards Andrew. Oh, it's a pileup. A massive pileup at the bottom of the track. Raymond Wimmer, Luke Chadwick involved. Andrew Goodhart stopped towards the entrance of pit road. That's Andrew Goodhart. That's the caution that Daniel Honeycutt needed. Goodhart still stopped. That car is destroyed. Let's take a look at the replay. Andrew Goodhart on the bottom of the track of the apron already. Comes back up to the track. Oh, Jaheim is slow in front. Goodhart overcorrects after getting loose. Catches Chadwick. Michael Brooks into the wall. Schoenbachler involved. Raymond gets contact with Jaheim after. And that's a lot of wrecked race cars. We don't know what happened to Jaheim. Let's go blimp cam. We're watching Chadwick in the 9. Look at Jaheim back up onto the track after missing the apron. Causes the 23 to get loose. Into the wall. Collects the 9. Look at the 9. Nowhere to go. That's the 92 Michael Brooks. 33 heavy contact with Andrew Goodhart towards the back. And that's a lot of race cars out already. Hey, Daniel, no up in the booth. You have a copy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Well, do you think you could give us a little bit of insight of what might have happened between you and Matthew Heel as you came off of turn 2?
Well, I mean, ever since they updated these darn extended cars, they get to where if you lock bumpers with somebody, you push them a little bit, then you just lift their rear end off the ground. And Matthew Heel didn't lift at all when I kind of slid up in front of him. I mean, I can't really say I blame him too much, but I mean, it got me, and it lifted my rear tires off the ground, and then he's basically driving me, and then it went straight to the wall, and then he ended up finishing me off, and I went straight down to the apron.
Well, you're getting the damage fixed in that car. You got the caution you desperately needed. Do you think there's still a shot for you to get back up towards the field, or is that damage going to linger throughout the race?
No, it's going to stay there. I'm probably done.
Alrighty, well, we're sorry to hear that, Daniel. Andrew, this is Noah in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, how you doing, Noah?
Well, I'm doing all right, but it doesn't seem like you're doing too well. Can you give us some insight of what happened from your eyes there?
Looked like someone had got loose and got down on the apron and tried coming back up instead of just kind of like holding it down there. Racing deal at the end of the day. I was running pretty good. I was actually moving up. I was actually pretty happy where I was running tonight. But hey, it's just race. It happens. I'll come back at the next one.
Well, we're sorry to see that, Andrew. You were having a good run. We look forward to seeing you next week at Talladega.
Yep, thank you.
So Andrew still being a good sport about it. Yeah, he hit that nail right on the head with that explanation, too. You could see there, Jaheim had came up off the apron in front of the field, basically, kind of spooked a Goodhart. He got a little bit loose, trying to make sure he would avoid what could have been a car right in front of him. And the chain reaction happened from there. Cars involved again. Goodhart, Raymond Wimmer. I mean, Raymond can just not catch a break this season. He might have been caught up in a wreck almost every single race so far. Luke Chadwick involved, your Talladega Derby winner from last season. John Schoenbachler, another guy who just couldn't catch a break this season, ends up with heavy contact to the nose. I believe that ended his night. Jaheim Carty might have went and parked it. So now we're just down to 17 cars on the lead lap. This is the restart. Matthew Heel, Greg Jodiet, Aiden Gould, Jacob Alicia, Aaron Warren, Chris Warren still right there in the top 10. Douglas Henry, Jacob Pettit, Ethan Walker, Joe Houston, and with green flag again, Matthew Hill leads and gets a really good jump. Aiden Gould even with Greg Jodiet as they go into turns 1 and 2, and I think Gould might have just barely cleared. Touched noses just a slight. Aiden Gould is going to get up into second, and now Alicia is working on Jodiet for third. Jacob Alicia, your points leader. He does not have a drop week left, though, something to keep in mind as we go into Talladega next week. Alicia cannot afford to wreck out and lose that points lead that he has. Aiden Gould to making his way into second, looking to pass and full clear Greg Jodiet for second. And he might even look to the lead as he gets just about even with Matthew Heel. What's the exit going to look like? It's a drag race down the front stretch. Jodiet might have gave a little bit of a push to the 53. Aiden Gould is going to send it in, though, as they go into turns 3 and 4. And Aiden Gould will get to the lead here at Kansas. Here comes Matthew Heel already to the outside. Aiden Gould gets that point, that extra point for leading a lap. Matthew Heel up top. You can see Alicia rolling that bottom as well. A lot of speed. Look at this big run out of Matthew. That's basically what happened between him and Honeycutt. You get a really good run off that top side. Now Matthew Heel's going to try the bottom. He runs just about half a lane off. That might be one of his first times really trying the bottom in 3 and 4, trying to get used to it. Definitely didn't push it that hard. Aiden Gould will re-clear. Aiden retains the lead. Here comes Jodiet outside of Matthew Heel looking for second. Matthew Heel shuts the door. Greg might have a really good run as it looks like we might be 3 wide for second. Jodiet, Alicia, Heel, and as they go into the backstretch, Heel will clear. And now it's just Alicia and Jodiet battling for third. Alicia still on that bottom. Greg Jodiet up top. Look at Aaron Warren bringing himself into the picture back there in 5th. Off of turn number 4, Greg Jodiet now looking at the inside at 53. I think Matthew might have had a bad quarter because Alicia is going to move his way up into second. Clears both cars. Alicia from 4th to 2nd here at Kansas. And Aiden Gould trying to pull away as quick as he can because once you get Jacob Alicia some clean air, it's going to be hard to pass him later. And they're still even. Meanwhile, Jacob Alicia is on the back bumper of Aiden Gould. Alicia to the bottom. Jacob Alicia looking for the lead here at Kansas. Oh, really tight. Both those cars, big wiggle. But I think Alicia has the advantage down the front stretch into turns 1 and 2. Not quite clear. Gould has that top line. Can he get a big run? Alicia does a really good job at wrapping that bottom, though. And as they exit 2, nose to tail, Alicia clears. Jacob Alicia is leading the Wizard of Zaw 225. Looking for 2 wins in a row this season. Looking to set the record and become the winningest driver in PALracing history. 4 wins to his name, tied with Daniel Honeycutt, looking for 5th. Aiden, one of the first cars to pit. He likes to short pit. I actually think Aaron Warren has joined him. Aaron Warren, Aiden Gould on pit road. I don't think anybody else has joined him. Oh, Matthew Heel, Greg Jodiet might have made contact. I'm not too sure as they enter pit road. It was tight. They might have touched. Here they come. I do want to check the replay real quick. Entering pit road. Oh, yeah. Matthew Heel into the back of Jodiet. Not ready for him to be that slowed up there on the bottom. Both those cars trying to get slowed down for pit road. And they seem to be fine. He does slow down the car. He's going to enter pit road himself. I see Chris Warren just behind him following. Jacob Pettit stays out. He's going to get that extra point for leading a lap. Joe Houston, now your leader. Joe.
Charge complete.
Picked up a top 3. I don't know what the hell that was. Picked up a top 3 last week at Dover. Looking good at the points currently. A guy that could very well point his way into a top 3. Top 3 in points get paid. Part of that next era alliance with Aiden Gould, John Schoenbachler, as well as Michael Brooks. And here comes Jacob Alicia getting his lap back. So they go down the front stretch. Alicia already looked at the high side, and he might have some room. Alicia has a nose in on top. Can he power around the outside? We've heard all day long about how that top side is the preferred line. It just wears out tires. They're even down the back stretch. And I think Jacob, oh no, Aiden Gould still has about a corner panel. Looks inside, has a nose, half a car length. What's the rotation look like? Oh, Aiden Gould snaps it into the wall. And that's going to be the end of that tire run there. Aiden Gould snapped it just a slight, trying to hang on. Did a good job at minimalizing damage. But Jacob Alicia had to feel good watching that. It's the pass for 7th, but we know it is the pass for the relative lead.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
Oh, we might have had a caution. Aiden Gould crashed on the front stretch. Oh my gosh, this changes everything. Let's check the replay. What just happened? Here he is. Through turns 3 and 4. Oh, loses the rear end, overcorrects sideways. Doesn't actually hit anything. Does a good job at catching the car. Slides through the grass. Comes back up onto the apron, close to the racing surface. That's with the caution brings itself out. Jacob, this is Noah up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Hey Noah, how's it going?
It's going good for me, but how do you feel this late race caution changes everything? How do you feel about having to outdrive these guys for what will be right around a 24, 23 lap shootout?
Well, I've been pretty quick all race. I've been able to keep my tires under wraps, so I feel pretty confident there. My big concern is there were a couple of guys that were off cycle that still had a fresh set of tires ready to go, and I have no idea where they're going to end up after a couple of laps. If they can cut through the field quickly, I might be in trouble.
Well, Jacob, you come into this week once again still leading the points. You win this race. You set the record. The winningest driver in PAL. Getting away from Daniel Honeycutt, you tied together right now at 4. But you don't have a drop week. So going through the rest of the season, you have that in the back of your mind. You can't make any mistakes. How do you race this restart knowing that it could get physical, knowing you don't have a drop week, but knowing that record is right there in your grasp?
Well, Noah, that's going to be a tough one. If those guys with fresh tires show up right at the end of the race, I don't know how I'm going to stop myself from maybe throwing a bad block and ruining my race. So hopefully I can keep my head on my shoulders and not blow it all up.
Alrighty, well, before we go back green, is there anybody or anything you'd like to shout out?
Just a shout out to all the WBR guys. We've been a real close-knit team from the get-go, and we've just been learning a lot together, really being a great team. So it's just hats off to everybody on the team, from the guys that sweep the floors to the guys that build the cars to the guys that put them on the track and race them.
Alrighty, absolutely. Thank you so much, Jacob. We'll send you back down.
Thanks.
Everybody sweeps the floors and builds the cars. Jacob Alicia, class act. Jacob, Noah up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, Jacob, here you are. You get this late race restart. This might be one of your only chances. You know, you said this is one of your quickest tracks. You don't have a lot of confidence everywhere else. This might be one of your only chances here to grab a win. How hard do you race Alicia?
As hard as I can.
Are the elbows going to come out? Gloves going to come off?
Yep.
Alrighty. 23 lap shootout. We'll let you have it. Jacob, I'm cheering for you, buddy. Don't let me down.
Oh.
Mr. Pettit, he goes, yep, gloves are off. I give a little bit of a hard one there. Yeah, Jacob Pettit will never be the first guy to tell you, hey, I'm gonna dominate, I'm gonna win, I got speed. But he definitely thinks he just doesn't have what a lot of these other guys do. He runs at his own pace, he runs clean, consistent races, but Jacob Pettit, with a shot to win, he's gonna take it. And don't forget about Magic Matthew Heel right there in third. Chris Warren finds himself still right here, just outside the top three. Jody in the mix. Joe Houston with the fresh tires. Pace Truck's going to pull off. We're getting the finish that we wanted. We got the late race caution that this race, in terms of entertainment factor, needed. And Jacob Alicia will have to do just a handful more battles if he wants to have that 5th career win. Green flag now. Jacob Alicia, good jump. Matthew Heel down low. Jacob Pettit up top. Matthew Heel moves his way into second. Up to the top line he goes. Jacob Alicia on the bottom, and as they go through turns 1 and 2, look at the big gap Jacob Alicia already has. What a stellar restart. Let's keep an eye on Joe Houston. He's already made a move down to the bottom. Chris Warren might have had a bad run there off the restart because Joe Houston has passed him as well as Jodiet. Joe now into 4th. Pettit following Heel. Alicia putting the pedal to the metal. Getting that car out front, right around a 4/10 gap. Can these guys catch him? He's a lap down in 10th, actually, not in the picture. Oh, Chris Warren around. Chris Warren off the corner panel of Joe Houston, spins it around, and we will line them back up again.
Green flag, green flag.
Alicia throttles up. Matthew tries to follow, but it's still a great jump out of Alicia. Going to turns 1 and 2, Jacob Pettit on the bottom. Matthew Heel does clear. Matthew Heel in the second. Does he have enough to get up to Alicia? How hard will he drive? What kind of move will he make? You can already see that car trying to get tight. Jacob Pettit might have a run back to the bumper. Jacob Pettit down low. Jacob Pettit through 3 and 4. He said the gloves are off as well. As they come out of 4, Jacob Pettit might just take second away. Trying to run down Jacob Alicia. Alicia not pulled out with a refined gap. Still within a couple of tenths. Just about a car length and a half of Pettit. Here they come off of 2. Matthew Heel might have had a really good run. Jacob Pettit's going to give him the room. Matthew Heel on the outside. Jacob Pettit still running a lane down. Through turns 3 and 4. Pettit still within striking distance of Alicia. Alicia not pulling away as much. Maybe those tires a little bit worn. It's just about 3 cars underneath the blanket. Pettit, Heel, Alicia to the line. 11 laps to go. Jacob Pettit to the back bumper of Matthew Heel, just about half a car length now. Jacob gets a little bit tight. Here comes Matthew Heel with the run on the outside. Oh, Alicia into the wall. Matthew Heel to the lead. Matthew Heel takes the lead here on lap 139 out of 150, but Alicia's not out of it. Still powering through in the middle. Here comes Jacob Pettit on the bottom side, but Magic Matthew Heel retakes the lead, and I think we had a caution. Not sure what happened. We don't have an incident report. We're looking through. Did he? Let's see. Running that top line. He was back on the lead lap at this point. Oh, spins it. Yeah, Aiden Gould just having a hard time with that race car. Spins it out. Gets it back collected. Matthew Heel needs to hit this restart perfectly. Jacob Alicia doing everything he can to be right there in his side. Oh, they're even dooring as they enter the restart zone. Green flag is out. Good jump out of Matthew Heel. And Jacob Alicia now has to reel him back in. I love that. I loved watching them play in some tricks there in the restart zone. Oh, wreck behind Aiden Gould. Chris Warren wrecking again. But it appears we're still green. Oh my gosh, we're still green. The wreck behind, they keep it straight. Green flag now. Jacob Alicia, Jacob Pettit side by side for second. And Matthew Heel is checked out. There's the gap. 0.5 of a second. How are we still green? I have no idea. Chris Warren, Aiden Gould contact. Chris Warren had to tow, and they are still green. Jacob Pettit in front. Look at Joe Houston. He's down to the bottom. Alicia up top. Jacob Pettit's going to clear the both. Down the backstretch, Joe Houston into third. 8/10 off of Matthew Heel. Isn't enough to get up there and make the pass for the win. There's Greg Jodiet making the pass. Oh, and they almost right hook each other. Greg Jodiet slides up in front of Jacob Alicia. Somehow hangs on to it. Alicia got into the back of Jodiet. Almost wrecked him. Here comes Gary on the bottom. Alicia dropping like a rock. He is out of it. Gary Smoke, he's going to move into P5. He's also on fresh tires, but here is Heel. 5/10 gap over Jacob Pettit. And as they head down the backstretch with 5 laps to go, he just needs to hang on. That top line is here. And here comes Jacob Pettit just within frame. He gains another 10th. Does Jacob Pettit have the speed? There's Joe Houston just behind. 4 laps to go on the edge of our seats. Can Matthew Heel break the winless streak? Can Matthew Heel return to victory lane in PALracing? Show that he is still a championship contender. Racing TQ midgets in real life. Racing barebone street stocks in the 4-cylinder class. It all started right here on Sim Racing, a NASCAR Heat Pro for what was Joe Gibbs Racing. And here he is now, exit of 4, loses another 10th to Pettit. Here they come to the line, 3 laps to go. Can Matthew Heel hang on? The Wizard of Zaw 225 now becoming a 3-car battle as Joe Houston still follows Jacob Pettit, staying within grasp. Down the backstretch, do they have enough time to get up to Heel? Heel still with a 3/10 gap. Jacob Pettit down to the inside. Joe Houston following. The gap closes a little bit more. Out of turn 4. Jacob just about even. Now he's having to battle Houston. Houston and Pettit side by side. This is what Matthew Heel wants to see. 2 laps to go through turns 1 and 2. There's Joe Houston on the bottom. Can he get the rotation? Yes, he does. Joe Houston into second. Does he have enough time? Does he have enough space? And do those tires have enough rubber to get around Matthew Heel? Going through turns 3 and 4. Pettit back to the inside of Houston. Aiden Gould, slow car in front. Houston nowhere to go. Major contact. Gould did not expect him to be coming that quick up. Gould's going to go through the infield. So does Houston. That's going to be the end of the race for Houston. And it's 1 lap to go for Matthew Heel. Jacob Pettit on the bottom. Can he get there? There's still about a 3-car length gap down the backstretch. Matthew Heel leading 2/10. Just about 3.5 car lengths through 3 and 4. Jacob Pettit, Hail Mary on the bottom. Can he make it stick? Drives it in hard. They might be even off of 4. Here comes Jacob Pettit to the inside. Coming to the line. Matthew Heel hangs on. Matthew Heel is your winner.
Appreciate you racing me clean there. You definitely could have put me in the wall if you felt like it. That's been happening to me a lot, so I appreciate you a ton. That was a good race.
Matthew Heel, you did it!
I cannot believe it. I am going to celebrate tonight, that's for sure. But first we're going to do a big-ass burnout.
Absolutely. I'm going to hang out here with you for a second. Absolute spectacular finish. Tell us about those last couple of laps.
Oh, man, I was nervous. I knew I had to get a big run there on that restart, and I did just that. I had to run. Goodness gracious, I suck at this. I had to run.
Do your burnout first. Talk to me after.
Get him and run. And I just created just enough of a gap to pull away. I got to give credit to, Jacob in the 42. He definitely could have ran me in the wall there on that last corner. I mean, I definitely gave him the opportunity to, so I appreciate him a ton there. And I can't believe it. We were on old tires. There was no way we should have been up there. And we somehow pulled this off. So I'm going to be celebrating this one for a while here. I just wish it's been so long. I don't know how to do a burnout anymore. That's really what it boils down to.
Well, Matthew, you are a defending series champion. You snap that 13 race winless streak. What does it mean to you to return to victory lane here in PALracing?
This is big. This is really big for me. I got to a point about halfway in that race where I was just super defeated. I'm like, well, I think, Elise has been doing great this season. I think this is going to be his year. And we just got really lucky with that caution, I guess. Like I said earlier, I thought it was just going to drop like a rock. And I somehow didn't, and I really don't know how. I think just something with the cold tires at the top groove would come in for like the first 5 laps until the tires heated up too much, and I just got really lucky, worked the top, and I just scooted out, and the top started to fade there with a few laps to go. I seen Petit behind me, and there was another driver who I never caught the number of. I think it might have been Joe Houston. But they were both catching me pretty good, and then we caught up with the lap car of Aiden Good. He didn't do too good of a job of getting out of the way. I think he took out one of the guys behind me, but I know he was battling a really ill-handling race car, and I know it's not like him to do that. So I can't believe I'm here. Like I said, halfway through the race, I thought it was over, and somehow, some way, we ended up in victory lane.
Congratulations, Mr. Magic. I'm so happy for you. Have a good night, buddy. Celebrate hard.
Thank you.
What a race for Matthew Heel. Let's go ahead and grab your second place finisher who was right there at the end, Mr. Jacob Pettit. Hey, Jacob, no up at the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, Jacob, you bring it home in second. You had a fast race car. Tell us what was going through your head through those last couple of restarts. How'd you feel when you sized up against Matthew Heel? Were you ever thinking about taking the gloves off even further and going at him? Did you want to drag race him to the line? Give us a rundown of the second half of the race here.
I mean, the second half, since that last costing him, like 120 or something, I just didn't want to wreck out and spin myself. But as far as the finish goes, that lap car determined the end pretty much. But if I would have had another lap or two, I think I could have got P1. But yeah.
Well, congratulations, Jacob. It's another top 3 for you. You're getting closer to that top spot. How do you feel? I already know the answer, but tell the people at home, how do you feel about Talladega next week?
I'll probably finish dead last in Dega, honestly. So.
Well, Jacob, thank you so much. You mean a lot to us. I mean,
this race has been a confidence booster for me. So.
Oh yeah.
You gotta say.
Are there any tracks you have circled throughout the rest of the season that you really are excited for?
Darlington.
Darlington.
I was good at Darlington last season. I'm hoping it'll be the same this season. So.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Jacob. You mean a lot to us here at PAL. My co-admin, helping put up money for the prize pool. You're a legend. Congratulations, buddy.
Yep. Thank you.
We'll send him down, and we got to go ahead and grab your P3 finisher, none other than Mr. Timmy Perryman himself. Timmy! You got a copy, Timmy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Timmy, you got here top 3. This builds great momentum for you going into your personal favorite race where you have a pole at Talladega next week. I want you to tell us a little bit about that. But first, did you have a feeling that this different alternate pit cycle was going to net you this high place finish?
We were expecting to be able to have a full cycle to where it was going to stay green flag and us be able to finish high. That's what our goal was.
Well, then
me and my team.
Yeah, well, go ahead and give us some insight then going into next week at Talladega.
I feel like my team's going to do good. We are great with drafting and pushing each other and keeping support onto each other. We're going to win it.
We're going to win it. Alrighty, thank you so much, Timmy. Congratulations on the top 3 here at Kansas. We look forward to seeing you next week, buddy.
Look forward to being there.
Alrighty. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be your conclusion of the Wizard of Za 225 here at Kansas. Thank you guys so much for watching. Join us next week. If you get here right around 15-20 minutes before, you'll be able to watch a little bit of a sneak peek and preview and some hype videos and interviews for what will be the second ever Talladega Derby. $30 on the line. Thank you guys so much for watching. One heck of a race it was. Have a good night.